Hello friends, what's going on today? I'm gonna do a quick one with you today because I'm somewhat excited about the next video that I'm gonna share with you for a number of reasons. One is that I had done a video where I spoke about how much racism is coming from black people and how this stuff need to be called out. Now, we speak a lot in this culture about how white people are supposedly racist against blacks, and at least the black community, we make a whole lot of noise about racism, about this group of people, that group of people. And for example, I may have my disagreement when it comes to the Jews in the way that they treat in Kyrie and the level of condemnation that's coming down the pipe. But one thing that I actually respect about the Jews is that they stand firm for their community. Just Kyrie sharing a link, they say that's anti-Semitic, and we're not accepting it because from their perspective, when this goes out, it creates a narrative and a reason for persecution against them. So knowing the history that they have, they are just buckling up and not accepting whatever. And I'm not saying it's okay the way they're doing it. I think it's wrong. I think Kyrie is an innocent man, but nevertheless, you have to understand what they're trying to do here is that they're not accepting any level of racism against their culture for whatever the reason may be. So, in essence, is that the blacks are also very determined to root out racism from wherever it comes from. The Indians, to a degree, are very loud and about, what has happened to them. But when it comes to the Caucasian race, there's been a quietness. There's been more like, should I say something kind of thing? And last time I did my video, I was like, yo, y'all can't just be quiet about some of this stuff. Like, this is happening to your culture, it's happening to your race, and you're very much aware of this. You need to speak up because your livelihood, your future, your destiny, your generation, your children could be next. And I say, if you want to deal with racism, you need to address it at the root. And also, the second thing I wanted to say is that, for example, Stephanie Krause, right? She got fired because Tucker Carlson went after her. And when Tucker Carlson goes after you, that's the end of your story. So that, as a result of this, MSNBC had to do something because the truth was out there and it was seen. And I could not believe this was happening for so long and nobody said anything. And again, when you live in a culture where we have different ethnicity, right? People of different background and different communities out there, while we're asking for acceptance and inclusion and tolerance of individuals, we also have to include the Caucasian race in the discussion. We can't say they don't deserve, it's like, no, we can't just make them the enemy of the state while we are justifying every other community. No, they are a community as well. They are a group of people that need to be respected and loved and cherished for who they are, despite of the way you feel about them, despite of the history that has been written. That ain't changing anything. If we're protecting people, everybody's got to be welcome in the pot here. So, that's kind of where my stand is for that, especially when I have friends and family. I have a son who is half Caucasian. I have a church where majority of our members are Caucasian. And, I can allow that. I can accept that. My neighbors are Caucasian and we have nothing. We are good. There's nothing that's going to tear apart this relationship that I cherish with all types of people. So I felt the need to speak about this in my video, and that's what I did. Now, the video that I'm going to share with you now is how the GOP ad is actually telling it like it is. And it's funny because I took this video from the Young Turks, which I can't listen to them. They're just so politically driven that even though something might be true, they will deny the truth so that they can suppose. It's like they play politics. They can uphold their political view, no matter how truthful something might be. I've seen a lot of channels who are Republican. When Republicans are messing up, they will call out the Republicans. They say, that's wrong, Republicans. We're messing up here. We're not supposed to be doing this, right? Which I appreciate when channels do this. But what I've seen with the Young Turks, for example, is that no matter what their party do wrong, I don't hear them clearly condemns the wrong that is being done by the party. All they do, they just virtue signal and they play this identity politics and they just go about protecting their base when there are real issues that should be addressed either from them or their party, and they fail to do that. That's the reason why I have no respect for them. But they were kind of trying to justify Tiffany Cross situation, which was like, the more they justified it, is the worse they make her look bad. Because I'm like, did you hear what this woman was saying? You can't say that she was just being tough, you know? Like, you can't say she was just being very serious. She was just being raw. Like, no, she was racist.
Okay, we're hiring, just so you know. We'll be talking to Tiffany soon, if she's interested. Because look, I don't know that we're going to particularly hire her. We'll have a conversation about it. But I'm interested in aggressive hosts. I'm not MSNBC, who thinks you should be a doormat for Fox News and allows Tucker Carlson to fire your hosts. What a loser network. Tucker Carlson attacked her. She said something back and you fired her? That's a surrender to racist, fascist Tucker Carlson. I mean, what a pathetic, pathetic thing to do. Now, look, guys, when the news came out this morning that they had severed the relationship, I thought, I don't know, man. People are saying crazy things these days. Maybe she said something crazy behind the.
And like many others who should be exposed as well. And to a degree, they should be fired. We deal harshly with Kanye. We deal harshly with Kyrie. We deal harshly with KJ Rowland. We deal harshly with anyone. The cancel culture goes hard on anybody who do not agree with them on certain things. If you're gonna do that, you have to take a taste of your own medicine here. You have to address everyone else in the same way, which I don't believe the way we're doing it is correct. But they have to realize the very sword that they are wielding is gonna cut through their own hearts. And I'm hoping that a change will come. Okay, so, you know, I'm gonna let you check out this video now, and then I'm gonna come back and share a final thought.
When did racism against white people become okay? Joe Biden put white people last in line for COVID relief funds. Kamala Harris said disaster aid should go to non-white citizens first. Liberal politicians block access to medicine based on skin color. Progressive corporations, airlines, universities all openly discriminate against white Americans. Racism is always wrong. The left's anti-white bigotry must stop. We are all entitled to equal treatment under law. America First Legal paid for this ad.
This is what I'm talking about. Them calling out the racist social justice warrior supposed spirit, which is really a racist movement at its heart when you really dig in, is exactly what needs to be done. Like, no more justification of the wickedness. You are racist against white people. It is very obvious. We get you now. You are exposed. Stop playing, and we're going to call you out. And that's exactly what needs to happen. As a Christian, I can sit back and just watch anybody of any community being deteriorated like that, and then we just sit back and say it's okay to do it to this group of people. But if we were to flip the table and do it to the black man, to the Indians, to any other race, right, you will say that was the worst thing ever, you know? And I'm like, no, it's just that we need to be fair. The double standard has to stop. I know I'm living in a real world. We live in a world that is sinful. Things happen. But I think the worst thing we could do is to stay quiet. So this ad really speaks volume for me. And I think if you're a Caucasian individual and you have a platform, don't tolerate racism. Don't sit back and watch it happen to your people. Don't sit back and tolerate this stuff, because it's just wrong. It needs to be called out. And that's just it. There's nothing to add nor take away from this. It's just this stuff is wrong. It needs to be called out. And that's it. Speak against it, you know, scream it from the rooftop, expose it for what it is. Don't allow it to foster. It's gonna create and make babies, children, generation down the road, and you're not gonna be able to contain it then. So that is something that I've learned and experience from that. There's a text I'm gonna put on your screen here. I'm not thinking of the reference, but I know where it is in the Bible. It's in the book of Song of Solomon, where it speaks about how you need to, you know, take the foxes from the holes, because our grapes are tender. And when you actually understand what they're saying here, it's like the best way to deal with a problem is at its root. It's out of root. Don't even give it life. Address it while you can. Don't let it nurture. And as soon as it does, it becomes very difficult to address. Just like a child, sometimes if you see a behavior in your child that can be corrected, you should correct it as soon as possible. If not, that behavior can become deadly. You know, when you trace all serial killers, they have one thing they have in common. They have these little behavior pattern where they will kill little animals and stuff like that. They will do those things. And sometimes parents will not take notice of these things and we just let it go. Before you know it, it goes from killing a little animal to killing a dog, and from a dog to a human being, from a human being to, you know, to many others, right? And it's like this pattern we have to address. When there are certain things that are happening, we have to address it from the culture very quickly. And I will say my message to Caucasian folks, y'all need to stop being so nice about racist attitude. We need to start calling it out, speak against it, comment under these videos, make people uncomfortable. And it is what it is. This is how you bring about positive change in the world, is by speaking your perspective and share your views. Thank you so much for listening. Comment below. Let me know what you think about this video. Until next time, and as always, remember to look unto Jesus to live by faith. Have a good one. Bye.